okay? Most of what we write is going to be in our pen color, and some of what we write is going to be in these colors that I've asked you to get. So we're going to title this Function Notation number 2. And we want to remind ourselves that we have 2 different kinds. So we want to know, first we're going to write F parentheses, leave that blank for now, equals blank. And this is where we're going to need our 2 colors. So we're going to say F, and then in this parentheses, I'm going to put input equals output. So my other color, I'm going to fill in output. Okay. And so the reason that we're writing this and I'm doing this quick little color coding is because we need to, when we're looking at function notation problems, ask ourselves this question. Which kind of problem do we have? Or which kind of problem is it? Number 1 or number 2? So we're going to do an example like number 1 and an example like number 2. And I just think that this color-coded version can be one more thing that's helpful to look at that will help some of you that are visual learners make a little more sense of this. So example 1. If it's like example 1, it will look something like this. You'll be given f of x equals a function, something like 3x plus 5. And then it will have the question, find f. And then inside that parenthesis, it will put a number. And that's going to be your input. So whenever we see something that looks like this is a type 1 problem. Find f of a number. What that's going to tell us to do, so what we're going to do, is we're going to say f of that number equals 3 times that number plus 5. So again, let's fill in the input with whatever the number is here. It's going to be the same number that's here, and that same number is what I get here, and that same number is my input. I'm going to fill in that number wherever I see an X. So in this 2 pink spots, I'm going to fill in the number. And then what I'm going to do is this side, I'm going to use PEMDAS to evaluate it. And if you really feel like this is a struggle for you, you can also use the calculator to get the answer for what 3 times that number plus 5. And then your answer to the question is going to be f of that number equals whatever answer you got from the calculator or when you did your PEMDAS. So f of the number equals whatever number you got. And so that's what type 1 is going to look like. That's just where you're substituting things in, calculating it out on one side, keeping this notation on the right side, or the left side, excuse me. Okay. Now, we also might have some that look like example 2. Move this up here so you can see it. So if we're looking at example 2 is going to look something like this. F of x equals 3x plus 5. So same function we had before. But now it's going to say f of x equals a number. But this time, this number is our output. So that's why I'm using my output color. And they're going to ask the question in words. What is the value of x? So they're giving you a question that's asking for the input. Okay. So, get a question that looks like this. This is my function right here. Okay. And what I'm being asked to do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself an equation that says the output, or that same number that I saw up here, is equal to the function. So that number is equal to 3x plus 5. And then I'm going to take this equation that I just made, and I'm going to solve it using inverse operations. And then my answer is going to be f of my solution that I get from solving it equals whatever number my original output was. So you need to determine which of the two types of questions you're being asked. Is it like number 2, where you're given the output and you're trying to work backward to find the input? Or is it more like the first one, where you're given the input, substituting it in, calculating to find the output? So hopefully you use this page and reference it to try to help you determine which kind of problem you're doing. Feel free to also use the other function notation page that we did as well, so you can practice that notation and do a strong job for criterion C, communicating in math. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Goodbye. So in this second problem, like example 2, I'm given the output and I'm working backward to find the input.